This woman was so happy with her dog. She was a stray whom she found all alone in the rain. She fit into her home immediately, and she shared every moment of their life together. That included sharing pictures on social media. And when her dog got pregnant, she just had to share it. But then she read a comment that would change her life forever. Woman shares picture of her dog online. When she reads the comments, she panics. The rain was unrelenting, casting a shroud of melancholy over the city. Amidst the bustle of people in raincoats and umbrellas hurrying home, a small figure whimpered and huddled. It sat alone beneath a few bushes, ignored by the human crowd. The soaked creature was a stray bulldog, small, pitiful, and carrying a sadness that echoed the gloom of the weather. Alone and afraid, the little bulldog, with her paws almost submerged in a puddle, looked up as if seeking a single act of compassion. In the adjacent building, a woman named Caroline stared out of her window. A single candle flickered behind her, revealing a cozy home longing for companionship. The absence of a family or a partner had always made her feel incomplete. And so, the silence of her solitary dwelling was as thunderous as the storm outside. That's when she saw the stray bulldog, drenched and looking lost. Her heart ached at the sight. Caroline hesitated for a moment, but only for a moment. Wrapping herself in a warm coat, she ventured out into the torrential rain and scooped the shivering bulldog into her arms. She felt the dog stiffen, then relax, as if sensing a kindred spirit. Caroline christened her Bonnie, inspired by the Scottish term for beautiful. And to her, Bonnie was nothing short of a beautiful miracle, but was she hers to keep? The very same day, she took Bonnie around the neighborhood, knocking on every door, asking if anyone had lost their precious pet. The rain had subsided by then, replaced by the fleeting colors of the evening. Faces emerged from behind half-open doors, some showed concern, others indifference, but no one recognized Bonnie. Caroline even spent her evenings designing and hanging posters all over town. They bore Bonnie's picture and her contact details, strategically placed in the most crowded places. Maybe this would bear results. But as days turned into weeks, there were still no calls, no leads, and no anxious owners looking for Bonnie. Caroline wasn't sure whether to feel relieved or guilty for the strange satisfaction she felt. As time passed, Bonnie's health improved drastically. The once timid bulldog was now a bundle of energy, always darting around the house with a wagging tail. The once quiet house was now filled with the tip-tapping of Bonnie's paws, each tap infusing a rhythm into Caroline's life, syncing with her heartbeat. Caroline felt as if her life had been paused and resumed in high definition, full of love and excitement. Bonnie was a mix of black, white, and brown, each color seeming to represent a different aspect of her personality. Black for her strength, white for her innocence, and brown for her gentle nature. Every day with Bonnie felt like a discovery, unraveling the layers of her canine soul. With Bonnie by her side, Caroline found a new purpose. Their bond grew stronger with each shared meal, every shared sunset, and the silent nights where Bonnie's steady breathing was the sweetest lullaby. In Bonnie, Caroline found a companion, a loving creature who saw her not for what she lacked, but for the love she had to offer. Caroline always wanted a dog. As she watched Bonnie one evening, her body comfortably sprawled across her couch, she realized she didn't just have a dog now, she had a family. It was a family of two, but it was more than enough. Every day with Bonnie was an adventure. She introduced Caroline to the hidden joys of long walks in the park, the simple happiness in watching a squirrel scamper up a tree, or the thrill of playing fetch. Her new companion had a curious nature that was as charming as it was contagious. Bonnie's joy in the small, overlooked details of the world reflected on Caroline. Caroline found herself becoming more present and grateful for the little things around her. Caroline began taking Bonnie everywhere. To work, to the grocery store, to her friends' houses, and to family gatherings. She was like her daughter, of course. And no matter where they went, Bonnie was a natural at making friends. Her cheerful nature made her popular among both children and adults. Unseen bonds of affection and friendship began to take root and bloom in the most unexpected places as Bonnie's lively presence brought life and love everywhere she went. One afternoon, after a particularly long romp in the backyard, Caroline noticed that Bonnie's belly seemed slightly larger than usual. After a few days, when the swelling didn't subside, she decided to take her to the local vet. The news was surprising and delightful. Bonnie was pregnant. An unexpected gift from their newfound freedom. Most people might have been anxious or concerned, given the circumstances. But Caroline was thrilled. She saw this as a wonderful opportunity to expand her newfound family. The thought of her house being filled with the pitter-patter of tiny paws filled her with excitement. She shared the good news on her social media page, posting a picture of a radiantly pregnant Bonnie, her belly round and full of promise. The reaction was overwhelming. Friends, family, and even strangers flooded her posts with positive comments, likes, and shares. Everyone was excited for Caroline and Bonnie, and their messages of love, support, and anticipation reflected their happiness. Caroline was touched by this outpouring of affection. It wasn't just her and Bonnie anymore, it seemed the whole world was ready to welcome Bonnie's litter. Over the next few weeks, Caroline documented Bonnie's pregnancy on her social media. She shared heartwarming pictures of her cute dog, her belly growing each day, and talked about their preparations for the new arrivals. She wrote about the unique quirks and changes she noticed in Bonnie, the late-night cravings, the increased sleep, and the serene calmness that had replaced Bonnie's usual energetic demeanor. Caroline's friends and family joined her in preparing for the new additions. They brought tons of gifts, small, soft blankets, colorful chew toys, and even tiny collars for the expected puppies. The community came together in a beautiful show of support as if Bonnie's pregnancy was a communal event that touched everyone around them. For Caroline, sharing this journey with others was a profound experience. It wasn't just about the anticipation of the puppies anymore. It was also about the shared joy and the bonds of friendship that were growing stronger with each passing day. It was as if Bonnie's pregnancy was knitting their small community closer together, one heartbeat at a time. However, every story has its unexpected turns. Just as Caroline was ready to immerse herself in this new chapter of their lives, she noticed a comment on her latest social media post. It was from someone she didn't know, but someone who apparently knew Bonnie. The comment was simply yet cryptic: she was lost, not abandoned. Please reach out. Caroline blinked at the screen, reading and rereading the message. It wasn't the first time someone had commented on Bonnie's origins, but this message felt different. It was personal. The person claimed to know Bonnie, and that struck a chord with Caroline. Her heart raced with anticipation as she clicked on the profile. The account was practically empty, devoid of any personal information or pictures, except for a single landscape image of a park that looked strangely familiar. It was as if the account was created solely for the purpose of sending that comment. Caroline felt a surge of unease. Who was this woman? And how did she know Bonnie? Shaking off her initial apprehension, Caroline composed a message. You mentioned that you know Bonnie. Can you tell me more? She typed. Her finger hovered over the send button for a moment before she finally pressed it. The message was out there now, hanging in the digital void like a query in the universe, awaiting a reply. Caroline didn't have to wait long. The reply came quickly: call this number. They'll tell you everything. The message included a phone number. The woman's responses were getting vaguer, fueling Caroline's anxiety about the situation. She debated internally. Was it worth risking a call? Finally, after an hour of consideration, she decided to make the call. Bonnie deserved to know her past. Caroline deserved to know the whole story. It rang twice before a friendly voice answered the call. Hello, this is Dr. Michaels from South Hill Veterinary Clinic. How may I assist you? Caroline was taken aback. She had expected a person, not a clinic. She stammered for a moment and then explained the situation. The woman on the line listened carefully before she replied, Bonnie? Oh yes, we remember her. Can you bring her in this afternoon? On the drive to the vet, Caroline's mind swirled with questions. How did the vet know Bonnie? Why was the woman on social media so mysterious about it? Why didn't she say outright that she knew where Bonnie was originally from? Caroline clutched the steering wheel, feeling a lump in her throat. She had to know the answers to these burning questions. As she walked into the clinic with Bonnie, she could feel her heart pounding in her chest. The clinic was buzzing with pets and their owners. Amidst the chaos, a kind-faced man emerged. He looked at Caroline and then at Bonnie, his eyes widening in surprise. "Mindy," he exclaimed, "is it really you?" Caroline could only nod, her mouth dry with anticipation. The story unfolded, a jigsaw puzzle slowly coming together. Bonnie was not a stray, not really. She had been part of another family. One where she was called Mindy. But her owners had to move away due to a job that was offered in the big city, leaving her with a caretaker. In Mindy's case, that was this veterinarian who had a close bond with the family. Unfortunately, Mindy had a knack for slipping away on adventures. That was something Caroline could agree with. Her Bonnie always snuck away when Caroline was not looking. But in the case of Mindy, she got lost in her wandering and remained missing. That was until now. Because Caroline found her, renamed her, and through a miracle, their paths crossed again. Caroline felt the words pierce through her heart. As the vet called her Mindy, she saw Bonnie perking her ears and wagging her tail in response. She realized that her Bonnie had another life, another name, and another family. A family that loved her, that missed her. But the vet also explained how they were unable to accommodate a dog in their new apartment. The news was crushing but also filled her with relief. The vet told her that the family had entrusted him with Mindy's care. The choice was his to make. He noticed Caroline's heartache and knew the deep bond they had formed. It was evident in the way Bonnie was relaxed and comfortable around Caroline. "You've taken such good care of her. Would you like to keep her?" Tears welled up in Caroline's eyes. A sudden rush of happiness washed over her as she agreed to keep Bonnie or Mindy. The weight lifted off her heart, she felt like she was floating. She had found Bonnie once, and now she had found her again. The elation was almost palpable. They all had found what they had been seeking. But just when Caroline thought the roller coaster of emotions was over, the vet surprised her once again. His eyes widened as he examined Bonnie. "She's going into labor," he exclaimed. The unexpected news hit Caroline like a thunderbolt. It was earlier than anticipated, and the suddenness left her reeling. But she had no time to panic. The vet and his staff sprang into action, preparing Bonnie for delivery. Caroline held Bonnie's paw, whispering words of comfort, her heart pounding with worry and anticipation. Despite the whirlwind of emotions, she knew one thing for sure: she wouldn't leave Bonnie's side. After what felt like an eternity, the first pup arrived, followed by a few more. Bonnie was a mother now, and Caroline was a grandparent. She was overcome with a flood of emotions. Joy, relief, love, and a sense of belonging rushed over her. As the newborn pups squeaked and huddled around their mother, Caroline felt a lump in her throat. Word spread around the neighborhood about Bonnie's safe delivery and the home she had finally found with Caroline. Friends, family, and even strangers who had followed Bonnie's journey online congratulated Caroline with the birth. The community celebrated the arrival of the pups, bringing gifts and sharing their joy. The story that started with a lonely woman and a stray dog now had a new chapter. It was filled with love, joy, and a growing family. Caroline's heart was bursting with happiness. It was a happiness she never knew existed until she found Bonnie, and now she couldn't imagine her life without her. She promised herself and Bonnie that she would make every moment count. She would raise the pups with all the love and care she could muster. Each would find a loving home, just like Bonnie did. After all, it wasn't just about finding a home for a lost dog anymore. It was about forming connections, spreading love, and making a difference. As the evening sun dipped beyond the horizon, Caroline sat on her couch, Bonnie by her side, the pups sleeping soundly near their mother. She realized not all those who wander are lost. Sometimes, they are just waiting to be found. Just like Caroline had found Bonnie and, in turn, found a piece of herself. It was a circle of life, love, and happiness. Friends and family visited frequently, each drawn to the charm of the pups. One by one, they found homes. To Caroline's neighbors, relatives, and even a few online followers who had tracked Bonnie's journey. The last pup, a quiet boy with a gleam in his eyes, was yet to find a home. That's when Dr. Michaels, the vet, surprised her again. During a checkup, he mentioned his own home felt a bit lonely. Seeing the pups and the joy they brought, he admitted that he always wanted a dog. His eyes fell on the quiet pup. "I think I found your companion," Caroline said. It was the perfect match. The vet's calm demeanor mirrored the quiet puppy, and at that moment, Caroline knew that the pup found his home. Dr. Michaels adopted the pup, naming him Benny. It was the final piece of a puzzle, clicking perfectly into place. Caroline and Dr. Michaels found themselves bonding over their shared experience, their love for Bonnie, and now Benny. From simple talks during checkups to shared walks in the park, their friendship grew. Their bond, forged in the flame of shared experiences, blossomed into a meaningful friendship.